Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Lipakshi Khurana. Here are the top stories we're tracking for you on Monday, the 27th of November. Indian Prime Minister Modi holds several rallies in poll-bound Gujarat province. Pakistan's Law Minister Zahid Hamid resigns over anti-blasphemy protest. And Bangladesh's president visits Rohingya camp, assures safe repatriation. And now for all the details. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Monday addressed several public rallies in his home province, Gujarat. His visit to the Western province is crucial as Gujarat goes to polls later this year.
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Monday vowed to work for the upliftment of the poor and show the main opposition Congress party the practicality of his decisions taken in the previous year. While addressing a public rally in Bhuj city in his home province, Gujarat, he said his ruling Bharatiya Janata Party government will not allow the opposition Congress, which was hungry for power, to loot the people of the nation. His visit to Gujarat is crucial as political campaigning is gaining momentum ahead of polls in the Western province this year.
હજુ પણ હું કહું છું કોંગ્રેસના લોકો તમારે જેટલું ઢોબાળો કરવો એટલો કરી લો આ મોદી છે આ સરદાર પટેલની ધરતીનું ધાવણ ખાઈ લઈને મોટો થયો છે આ ગુજરાતનો દીકરો છે જેણે દેશને લૂંટ્યો છે એણે દેશને પાછું આપવું જ પડશે આ તમે લખી જ રાખો.
Earlier in the day, Prime Minister Modi offered prayers at the famous Ashapura Mata temple and interacted with locals in Kutch district. The polling for the two-phase elections in Gujarat, having 180-seat assembly, will be held on December 9 and 14. The election results will be declared on December 18.
Miss World 2017 Manushi Schiller arrived to a grand welcome in India's entertainment capital Mumbai on Sunday. The 20-year-old is the sixth Indian to win the coveted crown.
India's Manushi Schiller, who was crowned Miss World 2017 at the pageant held in China's Sanya city last week, arrived to a warm reception in Mumbai on Sunday. Huge crowds gathered outside Mumbai's international airport to greet the beauty queen. Schiller will take part in Global Entrepreneurship Summit or GES beginning in southern Hyderabad city on November 28. The event is being co-hosted by the US and India. The 20-year-old is the sixth Indian to win the coveted crown. She defeated Mexico's Andrea Meza, who won as first runner-up, and England's Stephanie Hill to beg the title. The beauty queen has broken India's 70-year-old dry spell at the coveted pageant. The last Indian to win the title was Indian Hollywood actress Priyanka Chopra.
In news from Pakistan, following the voluntary resignation of Pakistan's law minister, the government and protesting religious parties reached an agreement on Monday to end the sit-in which had paralyzed Islamabad city for weeks. The protesting parties blamed Hamid for changes to an electoral oath which they said amounted to blasphemy.
Islamist leader Khadim Hussain Rizvi, whose group clashed with Pakistani security forces and paralyzed Pakistani capital Islamabad for weeks, called off the sit-in protest on Monday after Pakistan's Law Minister Zahid Hamid resigned. The Law Minister's resignation was the main demand of the agitating religious parties, who have been staging a protest sit-in occupying a main highway to Islamabad city since November 6. They blamed Hamid for amendment to an electoral oath which they said amounted to blasphemy. Monday's announcement came after a botched operation by security forces on Saturday to disperse the protesters sparked violence in Islamabad, leaving at least 7 people dead and several wounded. It fueled the spread of the protests to major cities across the country, including Karachi and Lahore. Meanwhile, Pakistan's Interior Minister Ehsan Iqbal assured the Islamabad High Court that the sit-in will end on Monday. Iqbal had been summoned on a contempt notice over the government's failure to implement court orders directing steps to be taken to end the sit-in. The Interior Minister said he will inform the court of the government's agreement with religious parties in person when he appears for the next hearing on December 4.
Moving on, an anti-Pakistan protest was held recently in Pakistan-administered Kashmir against illegal occupation by Pakistan. The protesters' alleged human rights violations have become a norm in the region where the Pakistani security agencies are operating with impunity.
A massive anti-Pakistan protest was recently held in Tarar Khel area of Pakistan-administered Kashmir, demanding an end to forceful occupation by Pakistan. The protesters, including women, carried out a march and shouted pro-freedom slogans, blaming Pakistani army and police for enforced disappearances and extrajudicial killings of people in the region. They blamed Islamabad for its discriminatory policies for the past 70 years. In recent days, several incidents have been reported where the Pakistani security forces kidnapped and tortured the political activists, especially the youth, who raised a voice against the Pakistani occupation and exploitation of their natural resources. A part of the erstwhile princely state of Jammu and Kashmir, Pakistan-administered Kashmir was illegally annexed by Pakistan over 6 decades back. Islamabad continues to control the region through a puppet administration and a semblance of democracy.
In news from Afghanistan, women for decades have suffered oppression and abuse in Afghanistan. But this is changing gradually. A total of 26 female military cadets recently graduated to join the Afghan forces and vowed to serve their country alongside men.
A total of 26 Afghan female military cadets vowed to serve their country recently. The female cadets were part of 350 fresh graduates from Kabul's Marshal Fahim National Defense University. They expressed their excitement to wear the military uniform and serve alongside men.
I want to remind you that you will never stop learning.
میخواهم یادآوری کنم که آموزش‌های شما هرگز پایان نخواهند یافت. شما پیمان و وعده این کشور بزرگ هستید. شما را به کارهای دشوار فرا خواهند خواند و گاه
As many as 100 female officers are presently under training at the university. In addition to it, there are 73 girls receiving their military training in Turkey.
Moving on to news from Bangladesh, Bangladesh's President Abdul Hamid on Sunday said he's optimistic that those who fled violence in Myanmar would gradually be able to return to a safe environment in their home country. He made the remarks while visiting a Rohingya refugee camp in Bangladesh's Cox's Bazar district.
Bangladesh's President Abdul Hamid on Sunday said he is optimistic that those who fled violence in Myanmar would gradually be able to return to a safe environment in their home country. Hamid made the remarks during his visit to Balukhali refugee camp, which has been sheltering hundreds of Rohingyas. During his visit, he also distributed relief items among the refugees.
তাহলে এটা আস্তে আস্তে ইমপ্রুভ করবে এবং দেয়ার ইজ ইন্টারন্যাশনাল প্রেসার অলসো সুতরাং আমরা আশাবাদী এই হলো বড় কথা যে তারা ওখানে তাদের নিরাপত্তা সহকারে ওই দেশের যত নাগরিক হিসেবে আত্মমর্যাদা সহকারে নিয়ে তারা ওখানে যাইতে পারবে এবং থাকতে পারবে বলে আমরা দৃঢ়ভাবে বিশ্বাস করি
Bangladesh and Myanmar on November 23rd signed a deal for the repatriation of refugees. Under the deal, Myanmar will take measures to see that the returnees will not be settled in temporary places for a long time and will issue them an identity card on their return. However, refugees have said they would go back only if Myanmar's government provides them legal citizenship.
In news from Nepal, Nepal's Election Commission said around 65% of voters turned out across 32 districts that went to the polls on Sunday. It was the first phase of the provincial and parliamentary polls in the country. The second phase of the polls is scheduled to be held on December 7th.
The Election Commission of Nepal has said a turnout of 65% votes was witnessed on Sunday in the first phase of the parliamentary and provincial polls of Nepal. The first phase of the polls, which was held across 32 districts of the Himalayan country, will bring on 37 new representatives into the parliament. Out of all, Bajura district of Nepal recorded the highest turnout with 80%. However, in Rukum district, the poll process was halted in 2 polling centres after an unidentified group hurled acid on ballot boxes. The repolling in adjacent stations is scheduled for December 7th, when the second phase of the polls is also slated to be held.
A multicultural carnival was recently held in India's northern Chandigarh city. The 3-day-long carnival aimed to exhibit cultural traditions through entertaining activities.
Hundreds of people thronged a mega multicultural carnival in India's northern Chandigarh city, which concluded on Sunday. The 3-day event offered a host of fun and frolic activities ranging from joyrides to food stalls and performances by renowned artists. The children were seen enjoying rides on cartoon-shaped colorful floats, while adults thronged food joints at the festival. For car lovers, vintage cars were also put on display.
This is, I think, a very good effort by the Chandigarh tourism. This offers a lot of cultural extravaganza to the citizens of the city. And it adds color, it adds music, it adds lots of play for children. You may be also interested in knowing that for the love of people, we have also brought vintage cars for you to see. They will also probably present a very nice picture to everybody.
The event acts as a means of fun and entertainment that draws hundreds of locals and tourists as well. It is held every year in the month of November.
Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude, the top stories once again. Indian Prime Minister Modi holds several rallies in poll-bound Gujarat province. Pakistan's Law Minister Zahid Hamid resigns over anti-blasphemy protest. And Bangladesh's president visits Rohingya camp, assures safe repatriation. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Good night.